hit the link at the bottom of the screen to watch the entire show. It's tight and sharp, and I think you guys will like it. And our guys are running hot right now in NCAA football. Get paid in full. All right, let's move on to Friday right now. We start at 6 p.m. Eastern. Utep at North Texas. Utep 3-4 overall, 0-3 in Conference USA. At North Texas 3-5, 2-4 Conference USA. It actually is Utep. I mean, it depends where you look. I know this game is in North Texas, but UTEP is being called the home team in some of these sites. The UTEP was expecting to play at home, I believe, and North Texas wouldn't travel. UTEP's been dealing with a ton of COVID issues. They haven't played since their third straight loss, 52-21 at UTSA on November 14th. That was the last time UTEP was in action. Their last 3 games and 5 of their last 6 have been canceled due to COVID. After 3 weeks of postponements due to COVID for North Texas, they've played 3 weeks in a row. So they're coming off back-to-back losses where they allowed 40-plus points. On November 28th, they lost 49-17 at UTSA. So they both have that similar opponent. And they followed that up with a 42-31 loss at home to Louisiana Tech last week. This is tricky. Capping a team that has not played since November 14th is tricky. Robert Cherry says, I like North Texas. And Eileen Marshall. We'll get into that. Marlon Z says that North Texas takes a shot with lunch money. I can understand questioning UTEP's preparation when they've been off for so long because they haven't just been practicing. They haven't been allowed to work together. And it's a tricky cap. John Ryan, UTEP, North Texas. What do you think?
Well, I think it's fair to say that North Texas will score 28 or more points. And just know that when they do, they're 70-27 the last 10 years in games where they score 28 or more. They're also 13-7 when scoring 35 to 42 points. So I think they get there. But it's a game that I think probably should be avoided, not knowing how UTEP is going to respond after all that time off. I've been talking about it being like the time off between a bowl game and the last game of the regular season is usually 4 weeks, sometimes a little bit less. But you really can't make that a fair statement because focus is on the bowl game during those times. Now it's focused on do we have enough players to play due to COVID. So I think there's a game just to simply pass on. There's some other outstanding opportunities in the card this week. And also in my stats here for the year, USA Conference, home favorites 15, 36, and 1 for 29% winners.
Wow.
The total has been perfectly even. 55 has been the average total and a 6.8 favorite. So that compares to a 5.2 favorite last year, 54 average total versus a little bit higher this year. And home favorites were losers again, 116 to 132 for 47% winners.
Wow. It's so tricky messing with these teams. I haven't played in 6 weeks, but my initial feeling would be like, wouldn't we want to attack them maybe first half? Let's see what CMac has to say. North Texas at home to UTEP.
Both these teams are bad. They've lost 3 in a row. UTEP and North Texas 2 in a row. I think it's wild, though. UTEP's a 10-point favorite here. I mean, scheduling-wise. So UTEP's beat Stephen F. Austin 24-14. They beat Abilene Christian 17-13. I mean, I can't believe that this team is laying 10. If I had to pull anything here, I know North Texas.
I've got North Texas as the double-digit favorite across the board here. CMac, sorry.
Otherwise, mine flipped. Yeah. So I'm freaking out.
sorry.
I'm on Las Vegas Insider. Then they got it wrong.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That's the real problem. No shit.
Yeah.
They messed this up. Yeah, it says UTEP as the home team, right? North Texas on the road, even though they're both not at home.
No, that's the messed up part. If you look up like ESPN, different places, they've got North Texas as the road team and UTEP as the home team, because I believe that was what was supposed to happen a month ago when they were going to play, but North
Okay.
Texas said they won't travel to El Paso. The COVID's completely out of control there, and they won't travel. And so that's why they've still got this listed as a supposed UTEP home game, although they're playing in North Texas.
Perfect. They got this goofed up. So if you're on Las Vegas Insider, don't look there. Yeah, then it's North Texas. They're the better team, but I don't want them minus 10, you know? So if they were under 10, maybe they're the better team in my mind. I've seen UTEP play this year. They're not very good. Both defenses are bad. UTEP hasn't played in weeks. With COVID, it's a pass.
Yeah,
That's what I was getting to, but but
it's all good. It is a little. There's so much confusing spots. So many confusing spots here. If you were to back North Texas, and I don't want to.
There it is.
Action.
Yeah.
What do you think of that first half spot with this UTEP team that hasn't played since November 14th? Because when John Ryan mentions these teams, 4 weeks up to a bowl game, they're practicing and preparing. These guys haven't been able to practice at all.
Yeah, you know me. I'm not big on first halves. I mean, I do play them, but this would be a good look if you won North Texas first half. I wouldn't blame you one bit. I don't think I'm going to get to the window doing it, but I like what you're saying. If you know.
And so what are we thinking? It's going to be a -6 first half?
I think so. Yep.
Yeah, that sounds cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it'd be like 6.5, 6.
Yeah, I think it would at least open under a full converted touchdown.
That'd be a good get. I mean, I look at these later in the week, and even more now with COVID, and then maybe I'd pull the trigger with that. But I like the look early, you know.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Let's keep. I'm not saying I'm definitely going to pull the trigger on it, but it does seem like a viable option at this point. The real Jolly Roger says they're begging us to take UTEP, and he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. We got DJ Big Boss, star of our Saturday shows, in the chat. Great to have you, DJ Big Boss. He's on Pittsburgh on Thursday, -6.5. We also have Noli Knows, who would be on screen with us, but he is sick right now. Great to have Noli in the chat as well. So Pittsburgh is a Big Boss